First, let me tell that with this group, whether it be on platform or city, I'm both an insider and outsider. Insider in the sense, right from the beginning, when the idea got germinated, and then subsequently in the conception stage as being developed. Um, Bashad Bhai was consulting me too, and then he was keeping me informed whatever was happening. In my own way, I tried to give my ideas, and then here and there a little help that was required. So that was coming along. But I have been highly erratic with my attendances with the group meetings as well as Zoom sessions. And in that sense, a little out of touch with what is happening. There, I qualify to be an outsider. That's why an insider-outsider mix. It's good in a way because um, as an insider, you know what the group is, and then the key players in the group have been doing. As an outsider, you can be a little more objective also in giving out your opinions whenever you come on board. So that's both an advantage and disadvantage. Now I will give in a very simple way some of the elements. Yeah, the benefit of the particularly mentees who are on the session with us today. It's more for them rather than those who have already achieved quite a bit in life and then who are experienced and then who belong to my age group and close to that. So this is one. The other point is towards the end, if the time permits and if it is within the modicum of the session, I would like to give a few observations about the mentor-mentee program that has gone on, because I have not joined any of those sessions so far, but the material that Bashad Bhai had sent me, particularly those two booklets that have been prepared for the mentors and mentees, I had the occasion to browse through today. So I would like to just make a few observations on that. Now, let's start the session, the topic that has been given to me. That is the goal setting. Goal setting is the first stage in whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve. First, you should know what is that you want to get. So that is the goal. Then you start going for the processes, the planning and the execution stage. First, it is the question of setting a goal. It has a lot of elements. Principally, some of them are very scientific in nature, where you understand your own psychology and then what you want to get in life. Apart from that, a lot of intuition. See, goal setting is something that is very, very natural to our nature, the human nature. This starts very early in life. Even when we're a youngster in class 1 or even earlier to that, we keep looking at it. I want to become a pilot. I want to become an astronaut. Something or the other. In fact, I vividly recall last time we had the same session. Are you my voice clearly? I'm hearing some resound. It's okay? Bashad bhai?
Yes, it's okay, sir.
Yeah, it's okay. Please go ahead. Yeah.
It's clear.
Yeah.
So goal setting is something I was giving the small experience I had with my own grandson last time. I think it's worth repeating. See, this boy, one time I had told last time, a couple of senior police officers came and met me after my retirement. I was sitting and talking to them. So my grandson has never seen me in uniform. By the time he was born, I was in other jobs, not wearing the uniform. So, like any other youngster, he was also enamored of the uniform. He saw these two senior officers saluting and being very courteous to me. Then he asked me whether I was also a police officer. If so, was I a bigger police officer than them? I said, yes, they were my junior colleagues. We were in service together. Then he said, I want to become a big police officer like you. What should I do to do that? The goal was clear, and he was also asking for the processes to get that. A few days later, when I was coming on the way, my boss, the CM, rang me up on the way. So naturally, I was a little polite on phone, talking, etc. This boy got a little hang of that, what I was speaking. And then he asked, whom are you talking to? This is my boss, the chief minister. By the time we were just passing in front of his residence also, I was returning home. CM's residence is very close to my residence here. So and then he told me, Dada, now dump this police officer thing. I want to become CM. What should I do for that? So goal was again upsized. So a little later, in the COVID times, I was watching Netflix. I think many of us have watched that Designated Survivor, US President, the serial that was telecast on Netflix. So I was watching that. When I was watching that, he saw a lot of paraphernalia, and then everybody was around him. So when he saw that, then he started asking me, who is this man? I said, he's the most powerful man in the world. So he's the president of the United States. Then he asked me, no, let's forget about the CM also. I would like to become president of the United States. So these are all very unrealistic and fancy type of goals that we set. Today, what we are talking about is very realistic. When we come of age, when we are into senior levels into our college or school life, that's the time we tend to be a little more practical with our abilities and what we want to become in life. Those sort of goals are the ones that we're talking about. So whether it be there or here, so goal setting is very, very innate in human nature. That is one thing we should realize. Goal setting is not a very difficult process. Actually, we should keep it as simple as possible, without cluttering with too many thoughts and too many without much of over analysis. So, like say now, see this is some quotation that I came across today. In WhatsApp every day you keep getting a lot of such wise words every day. This morning when I woke up, one of the friends had sent this to me. So I thought this is relevant to what I'm going to talk today. So I picked it up and I put it in my presentation. So here, see, I'll read it out for you. A door is much smaller compared to the house. A lock is much smaller compared to the door. And key is the smallest of all. But a key can open an entire house. That a small, thoughtful solution can solve major problems. So, simple thinking, a fundamental thinking of what your goal should be. Once you simplify things and start saying, then it will not be difficult to set a goal for what you would like to do. Like Bashad Bhai said, I'm a student of science. I still remember in our undergrad days or post-graduation, or when I was doing my research for my PhD, those days, the professors used to always tell, fundamentals, any subject, fundamentals are the ones that are the key. Keep it simple, keep it fundamental. So you will be able to have clarity and you will be able to get what you want. Same way, when you go into a play field also, like I was playing cricket as a child, my coach always used to tell, don't complicate, clutter your technique. Keep it very simple, play the shots on the merits of the ball, don't try to overdo, and you will have a clear head then, and you will also achieve what you want. So to the youngsters, what I enjoy is, when you are thinking, think very simple, think very straight, and then you will be able to have absolute clarity about your goal. So yeah, small edge. Okay, now setting a right type of goal is very, very important. What is that will help you in setting a goal? The first is you yourself, the person himself. He should have a good awareness of himself. What are his strengths? What are his weaknesses? That's very important, particularly strengths more than weaknesses. So when I know that these are my attributes, these are my abilities, and this is where I will do well in case I venture into that particular line, that particular area. Don't be tempted by what others are doing, and then life is better in that direction, etc. First, develop a strong self-awareness. If somebody is good in mathematics and sciences, he should pursue that side. We keep seeing a lot of parents, a lot of family members, sometimes the so-called advisors from outside, they're also pressurizing the children to pick up some area where his heart isn't there. His basic strengths aren't there. So they take him. Ultimately, they might get through, they might do something, but it's a very, very miserable type of existence after that, in the career or in whatever they do subsequently. So it has to be a good match of your abilities and then your passion. These two have to synchronize and they have to match. So that's where, if your heart is into humanities or into arts, best thing is to go into that. Sports area, we keep finding a lot of youngsters excelling in sports and going that side. But once we have realized that this is my strength, you have to identify it, you have to start working on that. That is very, very important. Here, though the genetics and biology also play a part here. It's not as if it does not. I'll give you one example. Again, this example is from the field of sports. Michael Phelps, we know he was the best swimmer ever. That was known, at least to the known world, he was the best swimmer because he has the maximum number of Olympic medals, over 4 or 5 Olympics that he participated. And then at the same time, when he was swimming away to excellence, there was another sports person, a Moroccan middle distance runner, Hisham Al Garouz. Hisham Al Garouz. He also excelled when it comes to middle distance running. So these two were contemporaries. Had Phelps chosen running and Garouz chosen swimming, both of them would not have excelled to the same extent they did. They could excel here for in their chosen fields because they chose the correct areas which suited their body, their genes, their abilities. It happened there. I can elaborate this. Michael Phelps, he was very tall, must have been 6'4", 6'5", then but had a very longish torso. The upper part of the body was very longish, very long hands, strong hands, and the cup size of his palms used to be huge. Legs, in comparison, were a little shorter. But then in swimming, as all of us know, torso plays the big part, the length of the hands and the palm size. It becomes very, very important because the more water you can display, more momentum you can generate through long hands, the faster you can go. Legs only play the role of being something like a rudder. They gave a direction. Garouz, on the other hand, though he had also the same height, his torso was shorter and then legs were longer. Once the legs were longer, his stride was longer, and then he could run, cover greater distance compared to others. So I'll just put it in that very simple way. Suited to their body types, they chose the correct type of areas of activity and they excelled. This is an example. So we should also see what we are endowed with mentally, genetically, and then disposition wise, and choose that particular area. So that's important. If you have same attributes fit into 2-3 different areas of activity, then perhaps you have a choice now what to do that. But don't force yourself just because uninformed persons, some family members, or those who are around you want you to do something, because one is you will not be able to excel. Second one, even if you get to some distance, you will not be able to enjoy it much. That's very, very important. This is regarding the self. Then the family. Family is the most important element after you, which will help you in choosing the right goal, right career. We're talking of careers here, so I would keep using that word interchangeably with goal. So, no, family. Now, family, your parents, your siblings, your extended family, uncles, aunts, etc. So, not each of them are equally informed. Those who are well informed, those who understand you, your nature, your personality. So, definitely, you will have to be very interactive with them, very open with them about your plans. They are the ones who do not have any selfish motive in supporting you, very, very unselfish, and then they want to see you flourishing. That's why they'll be of total help. After you set your goal, they'll help you in setting the goal. After you have set your goal, when you embark on the journey of achieving it, that time you will see this is the bulwark of support for you. They attend to your anxieties, your tensions, your stress, your health, and they relax you. They take care of you in many other ways. Without the family support, I don't think many of us here or even outside, anybody would have achieved anything. That's why you see the great achievers, whenever they have to speak formally or openly, they would definitely give full credit to their family members. Without that, their success would not have been possible. That's why let us not think that our parents or siblings, they are not well educated, in the sense they are not on par with me, or they don't understand, or they have not seen the world, etc. It's for you to take them on board, to discuss with them openly, to elicit their support in your journey ahead. So without that, one is you will not be able to set a proper goal. Having set a goal, the achievement will be difficult if the family does not go along with you on your journey. So this is it. Then the role of the teachers and mentors. Teachers can be formal teachers who are with you in the college or in the school, who would have understood you, seen you, or teacher can be a very, very informal person who has something to contribute by way of experience, by way of knowledge, by way of some information and the field that you want to venture into. So such persons, you will have to take them and do that. But don't do too much of consultation with too many people. 4, but not 40. 3, 4, 5 people, persons talking to them and taking it is okay. But if you talk to too many people, they pull you apart. They take you in different directions. Ultimately, you will not be able to reach a proper conclusion. You will be a very, very confused person. So that's why you will have to carefully choose who your mentor should be, who your teacher should be, interact with them properly, and then see whether you are setting a proper goal for yourself based on your strengths and weaknesses. You have to have a very open talk with them. They may give you full feedback, or they might fill in the gaps in your thinking. The other one would be the peers. Peers would be your class fellows or your friends who were in school with you and who have gone into different areas, or who are in college with you. You will have to pick and choose right type of peers and then use them as sounding boards. They will be able to tell you whether you're taking a right direction or not. So putting all these inputs, your own awareness of yourself and what you want to achieve, and then your family, taking the help of your family members, your mentors and teachers and peers, that is the time you set your goal. So now what happens, when you set a goal, be very certain that it's an appropriate goal. Right sizing a goal is very, very important. It has to be of right size. I'll briefly tell you about what right sizing means. I remember last time also I had mentioned about this particular book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a good book. It's available on the net. The youngsters can download it and read it. The serious-minded youngsters, you will definitely find it very, very useful. The examples, the anecdotes that he had discussed, the 4 throughout that book is really of reading and thinking about. So please do that. So in that, some scientific research that has been done, he averse to that. Scientific research that has been done, he averse to that. So it's okay. Yeah. Go back to that. So he averse to that. So in that, he mentions when you set a goal, set it in such a way that it's not too easy, not too difficult. It should not be too difficult. Impractically difficult, it should not be. So that's why he says, when you have known your strengths, how much, what your resources permit, how many hours you are able to work, what is your health status, how much say financial resources that you have, and then what access do you have to information or any of the knowledge base. Keeping all such things in mind, you set your goal realistically. That goal should be to your 100% capacity and a little higher than that. They have said in a particular way that it should be 4% tougher than your 100%. That's 104%. That is where you should set your goal. It's something like, if you're a tennis player, you go to play against a player like Federer, sometimes like world number one, or Novak, or Nadal, any of them. You will not get interested in playing against them because you don't have a chance of getting even 1 point against them. So you get disillusioned and then give up. So that goal doesn't work for you, playing against Federer or winning or scoring something against him. Same way, you can't play against a total novice also. Somebody who is a upstart. With him also, if you're playing, you're winning all the time. There's no fun, there is no interest in playing against such persons. You have to pick up somebody of your caliber with whom you play. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose against him. So when that is the right goal for you. That is the right benchmark, the bar for you. Once you have chosen that, the achievement of that goal itself will be thrilling for you, and it will leave you with some sense of achievement also. So your maximum capacity, how you assess, plus a little harder than that. That is what you should be doing when it comes to your goal setting. I'm giving you some examples what we have picked up. How, after having set the goal, when you embark on the journey of doing it, it's not as if your goal, once you have set it, it's frozen forever. Sometimes you may have to alter the goal. From goal A to goal B, you will have to go. Sometimes you may have to either downsize your goal or upsize your goal. I would call it right sizing the goal. Because unknowingly, sometimes unwittingly, you would have set your benchmark very high. You find that you are not able to achieve it for resource constraint or for whatever reason. Then you will have to alter the size of your goal. Sometimes you think that you have set a goal too low, and then you are capable of achieving much more. Then you will have to upsize your goal. This example is a very classic example of Sundar Pichai. All of us know by now who Sundar Pichai is. He is the CEO of Google. Several years back, when he had to work on Google and make it very user-friendly and make it a very popular model among the users, thereby also make the company very flourishing and profit-making. So in a particular year, he chose, yes, with these features, user-friendly features, I will enter the market, Google will enter the market, and then first year we'll be able to achieve the user size at 20 million users in 1 year. They started up. They strategized the whole thing. The product was ready, the marketing strategy, marketing also was done, and they started up. But then at the end of the year, when they saw, not as if they were not looking at it periodically, from time to time they were looking at it, somehow they were not able to pull through and reach the target of 20 million users in the first year. It stopped somewhere close to 10 million mark. So that was only 50% achievement. Now, even as they were going along in that year, They sat down and started saying. The team came to the conclusion that it's a very, very robust model that they have. They can improvise further on that based on the feedback they have received in the first year. And with a very aggressive marketing strategy, they would be able to go. No need to reduce or downsize the target. On the other hand, increase it by 2.5 times. So next year, they wanted to touch 50 million users. In spite of not achieving the goal in the first year of 20 million, second year, they had the confidence to scale it up to 50 million. The confidence is based on the altered product, the aggressive marketing strategy that they had, and their own intuition plus practical assessment that they'll be able to make it more user friendly, and then make the users hooked onto that. So 50 million was the target for the next year. They achieved 37 million. Still, there was a shortfall of 13 million users. So now again, they went to the drawing board and they started discussing. They further improved the product, and now more aggression in the marketing, more advertisement, whatever they did, they had a huge strategy for that. They brought about some change in the team also, team members. They did everything. And next year, they went on with a target of 100 million. That is, by the next year, they doubled their target from 50 to 100 million. They were surprised. They were not surprised. The world was surprised that that they overachieved the target by 11 million. There is 111 million users. This is a good example of what is self-awareness in a very steadfast way, working on the model that you have created for yourself with full confidence, and then thinking right and going to achieve that goal, how you can reset the goal and achieve a much higher goal. I have seen a lot of people in my own life. I think all of us who have seen some life, those who are into 50s, 60s, etc., we have seen quite a few of our friends. We started up with very modest targets. Then they started upscaling. Ultimately, they achieved much more than what initially they would have thought. They would have surprised themselves. So that is how. A goal, once you have fixed, it need not remain fixed. It can be flexible, but it's not be fickle. But in the sense, in a fickle-minded way, it should not keep on shifting. But you can definitely keep it flexible, depending on what inputs and what information you keep getting in. Based on that, you can keep right-sizing your goal. Recently, I think most of us Indians, those who are into cricket or not into it, we have seen another example. Recently, Indian cricket team was in Australia. They played 4 test matches. I'm not getting into the ODIs and T20 matches that they played earlier. There it was evened out between Australia and India. When the test matches started, the real crux, that is where the competition was. First match was a washout for India. Such an ignominy that India has never scored less runs than that. That is 36, they were all out in second innings in the Adelaide test. All of us know that. So everybody wrote off the team, they were disillusioned. And everybody was thinking that if you drew the series and came back, that itself would be a great achievement. There are some who thought if you lose by a small margin, say 1-0 or 2-0, even if you lose and come back, that should be okay. Many cricket pundits, great commentators, exterior players, all of them were telling India would have a whitewash. They will lose all the 4 matches. But Indian team did not alter its goal. Goal was to win the series and come back. Even if it's margin by 1 match margin, with that they have to win. They have to win and come back. This, after the manager and others returned from the team, some of them had occasion to talk to them. They were telling, at the end of the first match itself, they decided that they'll have to keep on working towards a win in the series and come back, not for drawing or not for losing with a less margin. That was no option. That option was not given at all. So here, we see there were a lot of other debacles along the way. The captain, who is very charismatic and high scoring and a very high performer, he came away on paternity leave after the first match. Now you did not have a captain for the team, a standby captain, one. And the next two matches, you lost 7 of your key players. All your bowling mainstay was washed out. All suffered injuries. They could not play by the time the last match came up. So they won the second match. They drew the third match. That's a classic match. The third match where they drew, where two bowlers stood for 45 overs and batted. Australians and the whole world was surprised how they did. So more surprise was in store for the last match, which everybody thought Brisbane, last 38 years, Australia has never lost to any visiting side. That too, this side, out of 11, 7 key players are gone. There is no captain. So they thought everybody wrote off this team. But then the way they stood by, and the last day planning that they did, morning to evening, hour by hour, they did and won, was something fantastic. This is a classic example and a very, very inspirational example how when you have set a goal, you set a goal, and then when you went out to achieve, you came across a lot of debacles, a lot of shortcomings, a lot of obstacles. But then how you scaled over one after the other, overcame them, and finally got the result that you wanted, how you achieved the goal. This is a very good example and a very recent example, which should enthuse us, the Indians, the way it was achieved. So I thought I should include this, and I should analyze and tell you this as a case study as to how, in spite of all the bad things happening, coming your way, you should never get disillusioned. If you have faith in yourself, if you think that you can achieve that goal, you should never alter the goal and go on to achieve it. In other walks of life also, we have many such examples. Please go through and see. One thing I will definitely advise you is please make it a habit of reading biographies. Let it be a scientist or a technocrat or a management person or a bureaucrat or a politician or a sports person. You will definitely find them very, very inspirational, and then they help you in they definitely help you in doing better in life. So this, see, in achieving a goal, you must always have a plan. That is what we found when it came to the recent performance of Indian team in Australia. They had a plan. They had a goal. They had a plan. With that plan, they could beat. Here, an idiot, please don't take it in a very derogatory or a negative sense. A person who does not have much of application of mind, or does not think much about what he wants to do, mentally deficient person. And that is all that was there. I did not want to change that word when I came across that particular expression somewhere. See, the other one, yeah. Now this has been my favorite. This has been a favorite. How planning. Now we have already discussed how confidently, with a lot of awareness, and putting a lot of other elements into proper place, like family support, or the advice from the teachers, as well as a friendly interaction with the peers, and all that. With that, you have set the goal. Goal is set. It's not just for setting sake. It has to be achieved. How it can be achieved, how it can be changed, we have discussed a bit of that. Now, this is a classic example, again from the game of cricket, which will help us how a seemingly impossible target, a goal, was achieved by a team. I'm picking up Indian examples because If I start taking some US or from here, from some other area, you might think that in those cultures, those backgrounds, it's possible that we Indians perhaps may not be very adept in achieving good targets. So that's why I've specifically picked up Indian examples. So this is again another test. Perhaps many of the youngsters on the session today, I don't think you would have watched this match because this is a match of 2001, 20 years back. You must have been toddlers at that time. But then for us, for our generation, this was a very, very classic match. The Australia scored 445 in the first inning. India was shut out for 171. And India was made to follow on. Once it was followed on, and the type of ferocious Australian cricket attack that was there at that time, McGrath, Shane Warne, and all those, nobody gave a chance to India. Everybody thought that India was going to lose by innings. But then in follow on, now India started batting second. 3-4 wickets, 2-3 wickets fell very easily. Then the two characters who went in, VVS Lakshman. In fact, after that inning, he was being called very, very special, Lakshman. That is the epithet that got attached to him. So he and Rahul Dravid, both of them stayed. And then when they got in, the amount of planning that went on into their batting was something fantastic. I had a long session with VVS Lakshman after the match a few months later. I was talking to him. I specifically asked him, how did they plan? How did they achieve? It was almost an impossible target that was in front of them. He said, sir, we had a huge target, yes. But then we thought, let us not get deterred looking at the vastness of the goal that we have in front of us. So we'll break it down into smaller components. We have to bat at least for 2 days together, braving the Australian attack. 2 days, if we keep thinking, that would look very overwhelming and we'll not be able to do that. So 2 days, we broke it down to 1 day and the other day on a daily basis. Within a day, again, we broke it down to 3 sessions on each day. That is a pre-lunch session, post-lunch session, post-tea session, 3 sessions. And within the session, again, they broke it down to 1 hour. The drinks interval till that stage and then the next hour after that, like that. Then came down to the over. And after over, they came down to such minute planning, ball by ball, we'll play. And miracle happened. These two were so clear-headed about the goal in front of them. This over I have to survive. This hour I have to survive. This session I have to survive. This day I have to survive. 2 days I have to survive. So like that, with a lot of clarity, they cut down their goal into smaller components, achievable components, and started achieving goals. Goal does not mean one massive major goal. Goal should always be cut down into smaller goals, sub goals, and then keep achieving one after the other. Whenever you plan something in your academic career, or when you want to go and achieve something in your a good career that you want to have, a professional career, that time also, when you're working towards that, you have to break down your goal like that and then start working towards that. Then I'm sure that many of us will be able to achieve. So now, okay. So now you see, achieving a goal and non-achieving a goal. I wouldn't say it's a difference between success and failure. See, always remember, those who win, those who achieve the goal, and those who do not achieve the goal, a winner and a non-winner. Let us not say loser, winner and loser. The gap between them, the haters between them is very, very little, very little. Many times we remember the winner, we don't remember the loser. We must always remember, you work as hard as somebody else is. One succeeds, other one does not succeed. What is that is making him succeed? What is that that does not make others succeed, even after putting in almost identical effort? That is very, very important to know. You see, the gap between the success and non-success is so little. Again, you pick up this example of the current world number one, Novak Djokovic. Is playing Australian Open now. He has progressed into his fourth round. So this gentleman, as a player, in 2004, he was, though I put it as 100 plus his rank, he was somewhere around 590 that year. His rank was 590. And then he started analyzing that if I have to progress and go up in 6 months, 1 year time, what is that I should do? He sat with his coach. And when they started discussing, they said, now your success of your shots, the percentage of shots that you are able to land on the other side is coming to 49%. 49% of the times you are getting the points. So with 49%, you are able to get a rank of 590. Then bring about some improvement in your shots. See, it's not a massive improvement if you have seen from 49 in 2 years' time, you graduated to 52%. 3% improvement in shot landing on the other side or winning of the points. His rank, world rank, shot up to 3. He was the third ranker when it came to 2006-7. Then he started working. Now it was a little more effort that was required, even to progress a little more. He wanted to be world number one. When he wanted to be world number one, from third rank, if he had to go to first rank, he had to again bring about an improvement of 3%. From 590 to 3 rank, 3%. From third rank to first rank, again, he had to make his improvement by 3%. So all of us should believe that it is possible to achieve these 3%, 4% improvements in our performance. It is definitely possible to do that. When we do that, the results will be astonishingly welcoming. The type of result that you get would be something fantastic. Same way, you see, I have picked up another example. This is a 100-meter run. You know, like in all other sports meets, even in Olympics, the last item that is held for the last day is the very magical event, that 100-meter dash. The fastest man on earth is decided in that run. So in this, we know Usain Bolt from Jamaica. Jamaica, incidentally, has given very fast runners. So Jamaica, when he got onto that, he set up an Olympic record. He ran 100 meters in 9.68 seconds. The person who came last, in the field there were 8 runners, the 8 runners who were qualified through the heats, and then they were participating in that. The person who came last among those 8, he was also close to 10 seconds. What was the difference between the ultimate winner and the person who came last in that run? Was hardly 0.3 seconds, 0.32 seconds. So that is how narrow the gap is between winning and not winning. Winning and not winning, the gap is very, very low. So that, if we can make that little extra effort, definitely you will be jumping from one category to the other. From a non-winner, you will become a winner. So this is very important. We keep seeing, I give the example of civil services also, where we are more conversant with. You see, now close to 1 million people apply for this. Out of that, about 6 lakh people appear for the first phase of the examination, that is prelims. Ultimately, those who are recommended for jobs, the high level, the government jobs in India, is close to 1,000, less than 1,000. From 10 million, 1 million who apply, ultimately those who are making the grade are less than 1,000. Now, within this 1,000, the topper in the nation, he gets about 54%. The person who qualifies last in that selected list of close to 1,000, he gets about 46%. The gap is again 8% only. Similarly, those who apply for prelims, many of them are having similar percentages. Some of them who don't get into the main list, they also have 45, 44%. Now, your resoluteness at that time, the way you fight it out and try to make that minor differences of 0.5%, 1% to push yourself up when you want to give up without giving up, fighting a little more and then going up. That is what will take you to success. You will really be surprised. Now, last year there was a boy here, Anirudh. This boy, fifth attempt, he got in civil services. He topped in the nation. He was number one in the country. But 3 attempts, he had 2 attempts, he had not even qualified through the prelims. But he gave out all his, whatever best was within him, he gave out in 1 attempt. He thought this time or never. And then a person who would not qualify through the prelims, the first stage of the examination, he went on to top in the country. That is the potential which each one of us possess. Once you have set the goal of achieving that, unless we work extremely hard in a very thoughtful way, and then alongside keep thinking whether we are doing smart preparation or not, and whether we are taking right steps or not, these are all very, very important. You have to keep on assessing for yourself, once in a while, withdrawing a little, taking advice or taking inputs from others, and then reflecting, internal reflections. All these things become really important. And then you will know this was my goal and this is where I am. And these are the things I'm not doing right. That is why I'm not able to get at the goal. So you should keep correcting yourself, the midterm corrections that you should keep doing. Then ultimately, I'm very sure that you'll be able to get to the process. So this is it. Then you see, goal, if you have set the goal, if you have worked hard for that, if you have achieved, it is all right. But it's sometimes it may so happen that the goal that I had set for myself, I may not be able to achieve in spite of my best efforts. Then some sort of reconciliation within yourself also is very, very necessary. Very necessary. This is, I'm telling this because I've seen at a very impressionistic age, many of the young students here, age 15, 16, 17, those who do SSC or intermediate, after that take MSET or medical entrance, etc. Sometimes we really feel bad. I was Commissioner of Police of the city in 2009, 2010, around that time. You know, whenever the 10th results, whenever the inter results came, we used to block off, those days it was possible to go right up to top of Charminar. I've seen youngsters going to top of Charminar and jumping down to death, or similarly going and drowning themselves in Hussain Sagar. This is not the end of it. But yes, you had a goal, you wanted to achieve it, you worked very hard, you have not got it. It's not the end of the world. If you have not got it, there are a lot of other things that you can do. You can start pursuing other goals. You can totally take a different direction also and do that. Such examples also exist who have not succeeded in the original goals that they have set for themselves. They have gone in for something else and done equally well, or maybe close to that. So this is where I again picked up 3 great personalities, great sports persons who are amidst us till recently. All the 3 have almost retired now. 2 have definitely retired, Tendulkar and Dhoni. Federer is taking a break. Probably he would come back to play. You see, I had an occasion to interact with Federer when he came to Delhi. It was a nice interaction. About 5, 6 of great tennis players were all together. I could go spend about 20 minutes of time in their dressing room and talk to them. I asked one question to Federer, I still remember, about his temperament. I told him, see, you are so beautifully tempered in the sense whether win a point or lose a point, whether win a match or lose a match. You are, we don't find much of change in your emotional status. Why? How does it happen? So he told me this thing. He asked me whether I knew the difference between succeeding and winning. For most of us, success would mean winning. He says that I always used to try to succeed. I have never attempted to play for winning, but succeed. I would like to succeed. Then I asked him, what is the difference between the two? You know, so beautifully he explained, winning is playing against the opponent, putting him down, and then winning against him, against that player, is coming one up on him is winning. Succeeding is, I have certain potential. I know this is my game. This is what I can do. When I am able to do my 100%, or slightly more than 100%, that is what succeeding for me. Succeeding is a competition, an internal competition, me against myself. I'm whether I have given my 100% that day or not. After I have given my 100%, or little more than that, if somebody is able to beat me on that day, why should I feel bad? I have done to my maximum capacity. I could not have done more than this. So it's okay. This was his day. He has done better. He has played better. I congratulate him. I complimented him. I have no problems at all. But the day I don't play to my potential, I'm committing too many unforced errors, and then I know I can play better. I'm not able to do. That day I feel really miserable because I have not been able to play well. That is why I have lost. After playing my best, if I am not overpowering my opponent, I don't feel bad. This is what. And Tendulkar is one. Is another person with whom I have some friendship. So this is another gentleman who was telling, after you have set your goal to do something, it's also important to start focusing on the processes that lead you towards that goal. Sometimes when I say, look, you have this record, do you know that? Sir, now I know. But that time I did not know when I was pursuing it. I was just trying to focus on my game and play. If I'm playing well, it's okay. That is good enough for me. Very simply, these great players, they always tell you, don't look at the records. Just focus on what task is on hand with you. Keep doing it properly and well. The records happen. They form themselves. So you don't have to worry too much about it. And Dhoni is another man. He has retired recently. At the time of his retirement, he had made these statements. He said, I have a great sense of self-awareness. I know what I am capable of, what I am not. I know my limitations. Within that, definitely I will try to perform my best. And I have never tried to worry about the non-controllables. There are a few things when I start playing, when I start doing, it's not in my control. For example, what the runner does when I'm the striker, the non-striker does, it is not in my control. Same way, a bowler doing his best on that day, it's not in my control. I try to tackle him as best as I can within my limitations. If he has been able to do better than that, there is nothing. In a way, he is echoing what Federer had told. These are the great persons who could reconcile. They had set very high goals for themselves. They achieved them. Sometimes when they have not been able to achieve, they have not been morose, or they have not felt bad that they have not been able to achieve it. They reconcile to the situation, and they are a happy lot. Ultimately, when we set a goal, when we want to do anything in life, what is the ultimate purpose of anything that we do? Happiness. So that is what these great personalities achieved through the great control they had on their personalities and their character. That's how they have built their characters also. So that is also important. Goal setting is important. Setting a right goal is important. Altering the goal if you think that you have not set it properly, that is significant. And then having proper strategies, processes in place to achieve that goal is important. And then if some process is not working and some strategy is not working out, changing the strategies also is important. That awareness to change, and um, when there is a need to change, we'll have to change it. We should not be so fixated. This is the way I go to achieve this goal. If the method is not working, you'll have to alter your method. You can't be so dogmatic that no, I'll not alter my method. If you don't alter your method, you will not achieve your goal. The achievement will also not alter. We'll have to remember that. I think these are some of the elements, some of the points that I wanted to put before the youngsters today. Um, in the topic goal setting. But then remember one thing: I might not have covered all. It's not possible. Also, these are some of the things that you must reflect upon in setting your goals. There are a lot others, there are many more experienced people whom you come across. Please talk to them also, interact with them. Interacting with people who can contribute to your growth, to your success. Reading right type of books, reading right type of material, and keeping an open mind when you are doing it, and then developing good habits in the sense starting from your health to rest to exercise to study, imbibing of knowledge. All these things are very, very important. And at any stage of life, they are definitely crucial. Much more so at your stage, at the stage of your life, when you are 18 to 20, 22, 23, when you are in the final stages of your academic careers, and when you are about to enter. As people who are a couple of generations ahead of you and who have accumulated some experience in life and seen life, all of us are here to definitely help you. We will go along and do that. I'll stop here. Before taking your questions, Mashad bhai, do we have your permission to go ahead and talk something on mentor-mentee
Sure.
aspect?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Mashad bhai?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. I think you have to take your screen down.
Are you able to get me, Mashad bhai?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
I hope the talk was audible and visible. Was it?
Yeah, it was it's excellent. Yeah.
Okay. These are all only a few cursory observations.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, मैं 5 minutes में I'll just go through this and then I'll take questions after that. You see, one is the two booklets I have seen. One thing I must compliment the way they have been compiled. Once it is a compendium, normally it tends to be very academic, huge in size. This is a very simple one, close to 15 pages each for mentors as well as for mentees.
Dr. Nazdeen is responsible for that.
Ma'am, I must really compliment you. It's very, very simple. And then it serves the purpose for which it has been created. That is one. The second one is you have given good leeway. Today I'm talking of goal setting. In that itself, we have mentioned for mentees as well as for mentors, goal 1, 2, 3, 4. And then very important part, the measuring of the goals as we go along. That's on a timeline. That is another thing that really is very good. And then expression of goals also. Though guidelines have been given, but still there is some freedom of expression, which is a constitutional right in India, like many other democracies. So they can express. And measurement is another one that was really good to me, looked good to me. I wanted to particularly compliment you on one thing, the emphasis that has been laid on the soft skills. This is a very important aspect, whether whatever walk of life you choose, whether it be a technocrat or a bureaucrat or anything that you want to do in life, you just can't move away from being articulate. I don't know how many of us are aware, some of us must definitely be, that even the United Nations, the next 50 years, it has declared as the era, the time of languages. And then it has also said that by 2050, the 4 languages which will definitely rule the world: English, French, Arabic, and Spanish. Mandarin, of course, for a different reason. These are the languages that they have said. Whoever will be proficient in these languages, with all the AI coming up, and then machine learning, and then a lot of other IT-related aspects that are coming up, still there are a lot of emphasis that is being laid on languages. This is herein the importance of the soft skills. You may have knowledge, unless you express it properly and you are able to succinctly put it on paper or communicate it orally, you will not be a success. You will have a product, you will not be able to market it. If you are a product, you will market yourself better when you can express better. So to the youngsters, I'll definitely suggest and advise that strengthen your knowledge skills, both in writing as well as in writing. Indulge in as many conversations as possible about your subject, and then develop a lot of awareness into what is happening in society. Ultimately, whatever you do, you have to be relevant to the society. Without the knowledge of what is happening in society, you will not be able to progress further. The other one that I was getting in this mentor-mentee relationship, of all the SETI group forwards that I have seen, or the platform or the books, is you are falling back on that the cultural traditions, whatever civilization it is. In Indian tradition, you call the Gurukul system, the teacher and disciple. I don't know. I was watching Ertugrul also very profusely in the COVID period. In that also, for example, if you take a teacher like Ibn Arabi in Ertugrul, the way the students flock to him and stay together, that sort of a relationship must be built up. Because most of the mentees that are with you here, they're men of knowledge, men of wisdom, men of virtue, men of, they're missionaries. No, they're on a particular mission, because I keep seeing some of the exchanges of conversation that take place on WhatsApp. They're all in place. It's for the youngsters to make use of them properly and have a formal, beyond formal, a very informal relationship with them to come out with all your doubt suggestions. And I don't think any of the mentors feel that they are teachers. They would definitely place themselves in the role of facilitators. We are all born 1 or 2 generations ahead of you. That is our advantage. We have accumulated experience because of that. Whereas some of you could be even brighter than us. Some of you could have much better ideas. It's for you to allow those ideas to interact with your mentor's ideas and tell what exactly you want, and take as much as possible from the mentors. That sort of a environment, if it is generated in this relationship, mentor-mentee relationship, I'm very sure that we would definitely go ahead. To the mentors, again, from same book, the James Clear book, Atomic Habits, I would request you to go through some of the very classic examples that have been mentioned in that. One example is that of a British cycling team. Starting from 1908, for nearly 100 years, that British cycling team could win only one medal, one Olympic medal, and they never won the most prestigious cycling medal, that is Tour de France. That medal they never won for 100 years. 2003 was the turning point for them. 2003 to 2007, some mentors, one big coach who came up, Mr. Brailsford, he altered, as a mentor to the British cycling team, he altered the situation so much. Same culture, same type of equipment, similar cyclists, but then the difference that the mentor made there was something fantastic. So much so, between 2007 and 17, 66 cumulative Olympic medals the British cycling team won, and 5 Tour de France medals. apart from winning 178 international cycling events. The same culture they came up, but then cultural alteration took place because of one mentor, Mr. Brailford. Same thing had happened with those of you who were in US, the mentors. Please go through and see what had happened with Los Angeles Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers in 1985-86, the best basketball players in the world were in that team. It was also said this is the best team in history of basketball. But then that year, 1986, they could not even win the playoff. They could not even reach the playoffs. That was because even they had players like Magic Johnson, Cooper, Scott, and all those were great names those days. The best players they would have, but the team will not win because of some of the cultural problems that they had, and then they were not motivated enough to do that. Then came a very charismatic coach who started attending to each of the players individually, started bringing out the best in them, and also the interactivity between players, the way that mentor brought about. These are very great examples for anybody who wants to mentor. They are available on the net also, apart from that book. Perhaps we should see that, because mentors have to be inspirational, and mentees also have to take their experiences properly and go ahead. Ultimate goal is Bashar Bhai, the way he has sparked the whole thing and taken it forward, and some of us have joined the bandwagon. Our dream is to see that as youngsters, you excel, you achieve, and be in places of eminence, of prominence in society. That is our goal. I'm sure that the way the whole platform and the city group that is working on that, this should be possible. By way of information to the group, I can tell you, a lot of inquiries have already started. Some of my friends from Delhi, in other states like Bihar, Bengal, Tamil Nadu, they have been inquiring about how they can start similar groups. Some of the information that is available with us here, I've already forwarded to them. Perhaps in the next session or in the future sessions, we can keep calling them in so that they can also see the atmosphere that has been generated in this group. Today, though Bashar Bhai was telling that we could invite some of them, I was a little reticent because they are my very close personal friends. I did not want them to be with me when I am pontificating. They should not feel that being an equal, I'm telling them all these sort of things. So with this, I'll end. Over to the host now.
So, Dr. Khan, thank you so much for your insights. I want to remind the mentees, this is really the perfect. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Nazanin Razi, Hyderabad, US Mahdi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So I was saying that thank you again for your insights. It's a great time because the first 3 weeks of the mentoring program is dedicated to goal setting and planning. And I think your insights are perfect. They are supposed to complete their goals by week 4. And I really liked some of the insights that you provided, right sizing the goal, being persistent, making sure that they understand the goals are flexible, but we want to set the goals in a very realistic manner. So I think this is a great opportunity for all of you to begin to think about your goals as we advance into the program. What I'm going to do now is to read the questions that are in the chat, and Dr. Khan, I'll pose them of you. If you can help us provide the answers, that'd be great. So the first question is from Danya, and she wants to know, how do I stick to a routine for my goal when uncalled for priorities step in? I think you're muted, sir. You're on mute, sir.
Yeah, now yes. This certainly happens because if you have a long time frame for the achievement of your goal, a lot of unforeseens keep interfering. That's perfectly normal. If it happens, then you should immediately attend to that and then get back to whatever process you are on. I'll give a small example. Like now, for example, you want to take a very tough competitive exam or some examination, say at the end of a year. Now you'll have to break it down. So what is that I'm going to do in first month, second month, third month, fourth month? So like that you have broken it down. Then again you will break it down to a week, then to a day. When you set, well, these are the things that I'm going to complete on this particular day, it may be possible, you may be able to do. But sometimes it may not be possible. You will not be able to do 100% on that day, or you may not be able to do anything on that day. Don't be too tough with yourself in those situations. So, okay, next day try to make up, third day try to make up. Within a week, you must at least have some spare time, some spare day when these imponderables, when they interfere with your schedule, then you will be able to take it there and complete it. If you have not been able to complete in a week's time, see whether that spillover can be taken to the next week, and then you'll be able to do that. So like this, you can telescope in a telescopic manner, you can do your planning. But you should definitely be concerned if you are failing too often. Say 1 week has gone, second week has gone, third week has gone. For a prolonged period, if you are failing, you will find it very difficult to get back to the routine. Just get into the net and see that there is a parable of a boiled frog. I'll not relate it today because it becomes a little elaborate and time consuming for me to do that. The parable of the boiled frog. Though that example is from the field of biology, the management has appropriated it and said it. How not recovering in time, trying to get back onto the schedule or your target, how it puts you back. But how getting alert in time, even after losing some time or doing a few things that are not taking you towards your goal, how you can retrace your steps and come back and do that. So that is it. You should not be too tough with yourself. At the same time, you should not be too lenient also. Even if you have stepped aside, try to come back as quickly as possible and then go on the topic.
Thank you. A question from Shafir, and he asks, what is your advice to the people who change their goals regularly under the influence of situation or people?
This is why in the beginning, it's very important to know what you want to do. That's why your awareness of your strengths and then fair amount of consultation with those who matter within the family, those who have to support you, those who know you. Sometimes you may not know about yourself as much as your family members know. Getting them on board is very, very important. Getting the family on what you do is very important. But in consultation, you have set the goal. If that goal is not working, then you can think of altering the goal or going into another goal. Many do this. I can give you one very small example. Last year, we were handling about 100 bright boys from the community for civil services. Quite a few of them did not achieve civil services, but they got into the Steel Authority of India or Indian Oil Corporation as management trainees, which are equally good. Reserve Bank of India, State Bank officers, etc. Quite a few of them have got it. So changing the goal is important, but frequently tampering with the goal, altogether changing, that does not mean you have fixed any goal at all. You have to set it in a pragmatic way to start with. Then you will have to pursue it. If it is not pursuing, very serious, a lot of seriousness, and then with an open mind, you will have to reset your goal and go. If you are changing the goal too often, which means you have not thought about your goal setting properly, or you are not too serious about achieving. That is what we keep finding with many youngsters. They are not serious about their futures. They are not willing to put in enough of hard work or smart work. They're not showing enough of determination. If those qualities don't exist, I don't think any amount of goal setting and thinking only about how high objectives are going to take you anywhere.
The next question is about setting SMART goal strategies in order to achieve these goals soon. So do you have any recommendations of SMART goal strategy in order to achieve them quickly?
SMART goals would mean, I said practical goals. Practical goals would mean how much you think you will be able to achieve. That is what one thing is important. You don't fix your goal at 80%, 70% of your capacity. 100%, definitely. Because if you want to achieve anything significant in life, you definitely have to give out your 100%. Giving out your 100%, you may achieve your goal. If you are giving less than 100%, you will not achieve. Giving out your 100%, you may or may not. Not giving 100%, you will not. That is the basic difference. And then be willing to go a little beyond. That's how you improve day by day. Today, if I think I'll be able to do up to 100, let me try to do 101. If you are able to do 101, tomorrow you'll be able to go 101 plus 1, 102. If you are at 100, every day 100, 100, 100, at the end of the year also you are at 100. So you should keep on upping your objective slightly, ever so slightly, but in a very practical and achievable way daily. That's why I gave you that example of playing tennis against Federer or against a novice. It should not be too easy, should not be too difficult that you cannot attain it at all. It has to be practical plus something. Then you'll be able to push your capacity up. All of us have gone through these processes. We have been able to do this. I'm sure you will also be able to do that.
So how do we fight through the feeling of being unproductive or feeling unproductive and staying up all night, unable to sleep until accomplishing a goal has happened for the day, and then ruining the next morning and so on, snowballing? So the question is, how do I get out of this frustration?
That is why one is you must have proper habits. Proper habits will definitely mean right type of food, right type of rest, in the sense adequate amount of rest. Everybody says that 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, then good exercise, and then good study hours. You should know what are your active hours. Those active hours you must set apart for studies. This business of losing sleep in the night, etc., is not going to take you anywhere. It is going to make you into a mental wreck. We have seen, I have seen among my colleagues who are far more brilliant and far more, they were brighter than us, but then they did not get, because they would do these very, very impractical things like studying for 18 hours or 20 hours a day. Please do not do that. Anything in the world, particularly the ones that we are setting out to achieve, they can be done in a normal time frame, provided you are disciplined and you keep dedicating same 6 hours, 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours a day. You don't have to do more than that. And then closer to the exams, etc., maybe you will do a little more. That is all. But if you are disciplined enough and doing your work on a daily basis, cutting it down into small targets, daily targets, you will be able to achieve it confidently in a proper way. Please do not overdo anything. Excess of anything is bad. In every culture, it is clearly said, excess of anything is bad. Excess of study is bad, excess of sleep is bad, excess of indulging in any pleasurable activity is wrong. So keep it in moderation. Go in a middle path. Have a comfortable time frame, and then keep doing simple things in a simple way, in a sustained manner. In a sustained manner. It should not be that you overdo on one day, don't do on another day. This will not work. And at the same time, keep taking breaks. It's very, very important. If you have 1 week plan to study something, I would definitely say when you have studied for 5 days, 6 days, seventh day, you must take a break, whether you take half a day break or 1 day break. That day, you should not think about study or do anything. Take about half an hour and reflect on the week that has gone by. Whether what is that you wanted to do within that week, have you been able to do it? If there are any shortcomings, don't get alarmed. Put it up for the next week and try to cover that and plan for the next week. Planning is not done at one time. Planning is done repeatedly. As you are going along also, you keep planning. Weekly planning for a long time objective is a good way of doing it. Annual plan you must have, monthly plan, and break it down to weekly plan. Less than that probably may not work. But what you are going to do on each day, on a particular day in a week, you will have to definitely done. Day 1 I'm going to do this, day 6 I'm going to do this. 6-day plan should be ready. 7th day, half day, 1 day, you will have to take off. Don't unnecessarily psych yourself up, pressurize yourself for doing too much. None of these exams that we are talking about, careers that you are looking at, demand anything more than this hard work.
I think she is talking about losing sleep because of feeling of unproductive and then falling in the trap.
Yeah, that is where what you must study also is important. It's not only hours, smartness also is important. What to study, what not to study also is important. What not to study also is important. Let me tell you, when we were preparing for civil services, we used to get really confused looking at the syllabus. We used to, when our mentor used to tell us, everything on earth is, everything under the sun is there in that. So we used to tell him, sir, not only under the sun, above the sun also, everything is put in that. How do we prepare for this? So that is why he used to tell us, don't get overwhelmed with that. 1/3 of your preparation should be solid out of what all you have. Remaining 1/3 you should know. Third 1/3, if you don't know, just ignore it and leave it. Don't keep on looking at covering everything and doing everything. Even the best people in the world do not know everything. Most knowledgeable people do not know everything. I have sat on the civil services interview board for the IAS, IPS, etc. There, it is told to us, though these are the cream, the best of the lot that are coming to attend the interview before you. Not many things we see. One thing we'll tell them. We always, if a candidate says, "Sir, I do not know about this," we take it. We don't see as a shortcoming at all. He is admitting honestly that he does not know. Number 1. Number 2, he is venturing to go and think. That is also good. But if he is bluffing, then we'll definitely take it bad. Not knowing about something is not a sin, not a crime. There are a lot of things about which we do not know. Please accept that. That will give you some mental solace. But there are not too many things that you should not know about. Basic things you should know. And there will always be things that you do not know. Once you start worrying about what you do not know, what you have not done, then it becomes a problem. Also keep getting solace from the fact that you have done something. Yes, I have done something. But whether I have done what was in my capacity or not. Once you keep doing that, you will mentally rest and you will also get good sleep. Otherwise, at the end of the day, if you start getting negative thoughts, all these things I have not done, I should have done this, there is a lot to be done, that is the time you lose your sleep. Sleep with very positive thoughts. Good sleep also is very, very important for you to perform well.
Prashad Saab, I think we are at the top of the
I think
we can we have a lot of questions, but I think
mechanism.
I think we can we should save the chat and try and reply this to them by mail or it's late, I think.
yes. So did you
Today, 2 things. Before ma'am, you take over, I want to tell 2 things. One is I must really thank you profusely. You are hosting and anchoring for my second program today. Last time also you had done it. So that is one on a personal note. The second one is I have tried to keep away the obsession that I have with civil services as much as possible in today's presentation. Probably that thought was interfering too much last time when I made the goal setting presentation.
I thought
Yeah,
this
ma'am.
was excellent. I really appreciated the comments you made because they are so timely and important to the students. You know, some of these things that they will take away, I think will help the mentoring program as well. And thank you for your comments about the mentoring program. I think that's important for them to build a solid relationship with their mentors and make the best out of it. The investment in their time is going to be important for their success. So thank you for the comments as well. Bashar Saab, do you want to close it out?
yeah. Mubin Saab, would you like to sum up and close out and then thank the?
What can really one say after such a wonderful speech, Khan Saab? I think we've been saying this earlier. I wish we had the benefit of these
Now
kind
I'm
of
an outsider.
I wish we had the benefit of these pointers when we were young. Wonderful, really. Thank you so much. And such live examples. It's all from sports and characters whom we have seen and admired and hero worship.
That's my weakness.
No, that's a strength actually. And so thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the examples and the way you've really brought it alive to all of us. And let me be very honest, when you were talking, and I have a presentation to make on the Thursday, I was wondering how I should use your ideas to mark my time between now and Wednesday. So really, thank you so much for that. These are timeless pieces of gems of advice, and all the mentees on the call, you really been exposed to something that's out there in the field. This is real advice. This is not theoretical stuff. So please do. I hope you guys have taken notes and can refer to them and put sticky notes on your boards, because these kind of things can really help you in some tight corners of life. Thank you very much, Khan Saab.
Mubin Saab, Khan Saab had the option of using examples of few most dangerous criminals. He did not use them. They too had goals. They too had goals, and they succeeded in their goals. Finally, they end up in jail.
Initially, I was tempted to refer to one case that I had handled, a criminal case, as an example of simplicity in investigation. I withstood that temptation and did not mention it.
Some other time, definitely, Khan Saab. It sounds very interesting.
So thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dr. Razi. Thanks, Mubin Saab.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. So mentees, please start working on your goals, because I think your mentors would be waiting for you to get back to them. Thanks, everybody. Now all the mentees can log out, and mentors can stay for a while. Mentees can log out, please.
Thank you. Right, Bashar, thank you. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Khan Saab. It was very inspiring.
Thank you, sir.